Gas stations could soon find themselves running on empty. The rise of electric vehicles is raising questions about what's going to happen to businesses in the coming years. And they're not alone. Mechanics are also looking at an increasingly uncertain future. Joining us with more this morning is futurist Nicholas Badminton. Welcome back.
Good morning.
You said you spoke to this industry years ago. You sort of warned them about what was happening, and we're having this conversation today. In Canada, registration of zero-emission vehicles climbed from about 3.5%, that was in 2020, to 12% last year. Charging those cars takes up time, sometimes up to an hour. What are the ideas that gas stations are looking at as the world, and Canada, of course, we know, has made the commitment to EVs?
Well, I mean, if you've got an internal combustion engine vehicle, you're not going to fill it up at home. With electric vehicles, you do. You just plug it in overnight. So even gas stations as a destination to even fill up with electricity outside of those longer trips on highways is not really going to happen. So urban centres are probably going to lose all their gas stations in the next 5 to 10 years.
So to your point, a study by General Motors found 90% of EV users charge their vehicles at their house. So even for gas stations that try to adapt by adding those charging stations, how viable is that business model for them?
I've explored this with a lot of people over the years, and it's like, hey, maybe it's a destination, maybe there's a coffee shop, maybe there's retail, whatever. And that's kind of a cool idea when you're thinking about driving on highways, like I said. But in terms of, like, you know, people aren't going to drive 3 kilometers from home to sit for an hour. I used to have to do this here in Toronto about 5 years ago, when I was driving a fully electric vehicle. And I've been driving electric for about 8 years. But now, you can literally plug in at home. You can actually charge wherever you need to charge. And I never have to go to a gas station.
Well, when you think about it, it's also at a lot of people's destinations. So, for example, if I'm going to the mall, malls now have EV charging stations, so I can do it there just as easily. The other side of this are the people who work at the gas stations. A lot of times that's mechanics. How does the maintenance of an electric vehicle differ from that of gas-powered vehicles?
So internal combustion engine vehicles, about 200, 220 moving parts. EVs, 3. And they never break. So literally, the maintenance on an EV is tyre wear, brakes, and washer fluid. That's it. So it's a complete change of the game. So the skilled mechanics are the people that can administer software and whatever, but not, you know, replace multiple parts in your car for thousands of dollars. So we're heading into a new world where there's a better technology out there for driving, and that technology is electric vehicles.
So then what does this mean for mechanics in the years ahead? You're the futurist, tell us.
I wouldn't bet on being a mechanic in 20 years' time. I think in 20 years' time, electric vehicles are probably going to make up 70, 80% of the market. We're still going to need them. It's going to be very niche, and there's going to be even fewer mechanic shops. They might actually charge a huge premium, which is also going to be a tipping point for people to go and buy electric vehicles.
Oh, that's interesting. Can we get back to the model of gas stations for just a moment? We've watched them over the years become coffee shops, or almost like a convenience store. I mean, you can get anything there from, like, sunglasses to baby wipes. So what are some of the models they're looking at to hopefully stay in business?
It's kind of an old business model of, like, maybe put more food options or whatever. They're just not really evolving at all. And it's in the face of a huge disruption, which is fundamentally people won't have to visit them anymore. So people aren't going to drive there, spend an hour, watch a movie or whatever. It's just not going to happen. So I think that they're on shaky ground.
Nick, I want to ask you really quickly, because you attend these conferences, you have been for years, this is your area of study. The voices that are protecting gas-powered vehicles in the oil and gas industry, they are loud. They are at those conferences and they're like, nothing to see here, nothing to worry about. But you sort of take in the whole picture. So what do you see in terms of electric versus gas-powered?
So as things change through the revolutions over the years, it's just when better technology comes along, we tend to adopt it just because it's better, cheaper, faster, whatever. Electric vehicles are that technology, right? Once you drive one, it's just better, more reliable, cheaper to run in the long run. So we're kind of at that tipping point right now of massive disruption, mostly in an industrial sense for trucking and whatever, and on a personal driving perspective as well. It's coming.
Okay, well, that's why we have you here, so you can tell us what's coming. Thanks, Nicholas. Have a good weekend.
Same to you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.